In today's episode of the According to AI podcast, we're going to break down the recent news about Donald Trump's indictment into terms that a 10-year-old can understand. So, grab your headphones, gather the family, and let's dive into this unique and informative episode. Hey there! Let me tell you about an important event that's happening with Donald Trump, who used to be the President of the United States. He's in some trouble right now because he might have broken some rules when he was trying to become president in 2016. This is a big deal because he's the first former president to be in a situation like this. You see, when people run for president, they have to follow certain rules about how they use the money for their campaign. In this case, Trump is accused of using campaign money to secretly pay a woman named Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about something that happened between them. Trump says it didn't happen, but the payment was still made. The problem is that this payment might have broken the rules for how campaign money can be used, and it wasn't reported the way it should have been. A grand jury is a group of people who looked into this situation to decide if there's enough evidence to charge Trump with a crime. They don't decide if he's guilty or not, but they do decide if he should be charged. In this case, they said there is enough evidence to charge him. Trump's lawyer says that he didn't do anything wrong and that the people charging him are just trying to hurt him because of politics. They're going to fight the charges in court, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. So, after the grand jury decided that there's enough evidence to charge Donald Trump with a crime, the next step is for the legal process to continue. This means that the charges against him will be made public, and Trump will have to go to court to defend himself. In court, there will be a judge, lawyers, and possibly a jury, just like you see in movies or TV shows. Trump's lawyer will try to prove that he didn't do anything wrong, while the other side will try to show that he did break the rules about using campaign money. It's important to remember that everyone, including Trump, has the right to a fair trial. That means both sides will present their arguments, and the judge or jury will decide if Trump is guilty or not. If they find him guilty, he could face consequences like fines or even jail time. If they find him not guilty, then he won't face those consequences. Alright, let me explain what a grand jury is to you. A grand jury is a group of regular people from the community, just like you and me. In New York, where this case is happening, a grand jury has 23 people. At least 16 of them need to be there to listen to the evidence and discuss it. If 12 or more of them agree there's enough evidence, they'll approve charging the person with a crime. In Trump's case, the grand jury heard testimonies from different people. A testimony is when someone talks about what they know or have seen. One person who testified was David Pecker, who used to be the boss of a company that owns a newspaper called the National Enquirer. His company helped Trump's campaign by paying money to someone and keeping their story from being published. Another person who testified was Michael Cohen, who used to be Trump's lawyer. He's the one who made the payment to Stormy Daniels. There was also Robert Costello, who was once a legal advisor to Cohen. They don't get along now, and Costello shared some information that might make people question Cohen's side of the story. After listening to all these people and looking at the evidence, the grand jury decided there was enough to charge Trump with a crime. And now, the legal process will move forward with a trial in court. There are other investigations going on that involve Donald Trump. An investigation is like a search to find out the truth about something. These other investigations are looking into different things that happened while Trump was president or during his campaign. One investigation is about some very important government papers that Trump took with him to his house in Florida when he left the White House. These papers are supposed to be kept safe and secret, so the people in charge want to make sure nothing wrong happened with them. Another investigation is about a really big and chaotic event that happened on January 6, 2021, when a lot of people broke into the U.S. Capitol building. The people investigating want to find out if Trump or his friends had anything to do with that event. There's also an investigation happening in Georgia, where some people think Trump and his friends might have done something wrong during the 2020 election. A special group of people, called a grand jury, has been listening to different people talking about what happened. They recommended that some people should be charged with crimes, and it's possible Trump could be one of them. The final decision will be made by a person named Fani Willis, who is in charge of the investigation. These are just a few examples of the investigations involving Trump. It's important to remember that everyone, including Trump, has the right to a fair trial, and it's up to the courts and the legal system to figure out if someone is guilty or not guilty. This is an important part of history because it's the first time something like this has happened to a former president. It helps us understand that even people who were once in powerful positions can still be held accountable for their actions. So, as you learn about this story, think about how important it is for everyone to follow the rules, no matter how important they are. That's it for today's episode of According to AI. We hope our listeners enjoyed this simplified explanation of the recent news about Donald Trump's indictment, and that it made understanding the situation a little bit easier. Remember, this entire episode was generated by an AI, which demonstrates the amazing capabilities of artificial intelligence in making complex topics accessible to everyone. As the case unfolds, we'll be following this story closely and bringing you the latest updates. So, stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next episode.